Hello folks, Angel here. Today I'm going to be talking about some suggestions for Killing Floor 2 and maybe just some things that the developers can look into in the future, which I would absolutely love. And if anybody's got any comments, please leave a few comments about improvements that they can make. Who knows, maybe this video will end up reaching them and then they can have a look and maybe make one or two of these suggestions come through. Alright, let me get straight into it. Firstly, things I would like to see in Killing Floor 2. Now, I'm going to start off with classes, because this is one of the main things that attract people to Killing Floor 2 and always brings people back. And as I can see here, there is space for some more classes. So now, I'm just going to suggest some classes. Alright. Now, if you look at all of these classes currently, there's no real disabler class. With other words, a class that can stop Zeds. Okay, the sharpshooter has got the freezing grenades, but that's it. That's where it stops. Any other form of disabling is just explosives and stuff like that. I'm talking about, like you can see, we've got the firebug. I'm talking about like an ice bug, someone that will freeze them and make them move slower, or shoot ice on the ground and make them trip and fall, whichever might be the case. So I know it might be a slight change, but take away the freezing grenades from the sharpshooter, give that to the ice bug, for instance, and then there's your disabler. Maybe give him a harpoon or something. I know in Killing Floor 1, I played Killing Floor 1 for quite a while as well. You had the harpoon gun in there that had a grenade attached to the back of it. Maybe make that grenade a freezing grenade. That was actually quite a fun gun. Not all that useful, but I liked playing with it because it was unique. That's it. It was unique. Anyway, then maybe in that same class, or just make it a general class. It doesn't have to be an ice bug. I thought maybe like a trapper, someone that throws down, like bear traps, or maybe also can shoot a harpoon or something into a Z, and then shoot a harpoon like somewhere into a building or into the ground with like a chain. So the chain will obviously hold a flesh pound for a lot less time than it will hold a normal Z, for instance. Just something to give you a bit more space and so forth. It must obviously be a class that does very little damage on his own, so that forces him to stay with his crew. So that is something I would love to see, a disabler class in Killing Floor 2. Some of the other ones that I've thought about, as you can see here, there's support. Now, maybe a heavy support. Now, what I mean with that is the heavy support must be someone that walks around with like a minigun. But his drawback must be that he's really slow. Because as the game's difficulty gets higher, the Zeds get faster. So he's going to need more and more cover to prevent him from dying. Now on certain maps, I know there will be very good choke points, but with some slight tweaking, it could be possible that the Zeds can get a hand up on him, especially because he's going to be slow moving. But maybe he's got a lot of armor and he's got a very big gun that can shoot a lot of bullets. Maybe make his bullets a bit more expensive, so that forces him not to shoot like crazy. But I would love to see something like that. Maybe make him start off with like a very old World War II machine gun, and then slowly upgrade it to your standard minigun today with like a tri-barrel, or just something like that. I would love to see a heavy support class, like someone that just starts mowing down Zeds. Then maybe another class that I thought about was maybe like a mad scientist, someone that's got all kinds of concoctions in bottles, like acid and something along those lines, like acids and so on. I know the medics' grenades can heal and they work like a kind of acid, but I'm talking about like a proper acid character then when he like kills Zeds, you can see the meat being chowed off and then just like skeletons dropping to the ground or something like that. I know Killing Floor has got a lot of gore in it, so might as well add some more to the list. Or maybe a what do you call that? Maybe a weapon, you know, like what you use in your yard when you shooting weed killer. Maybe one of those kind of weapons, but one that shoots acid, for instance. I don't know, the sky's the limit. I know Killing Floor has come up with some weird concoctions for guns and things, and I love it. I love that aspect, because it's not just your general, okay, this gun, that gun, that gun. It's like all these weird kind of things. So go crazy with that one. Then, one of my favorite classes to play in games is a stealthy character. Now I know you guys are thinking, okay, how do you play a stealthy character? Maybe he can be something similar to a berserker, but at like level 5, his first skill is to go invisible, and then he's got improved movement speed and like a backstab bonus. So what this person's role would be is to like scout ahead, see if there's any flesh bounds coming, or you know, stuff like that. He can maybe mark them, and then everybody can like see a marker on their HUD which shows them where a flesh bound is for X duration of time, and then he must be able to backstab certain Zeds and then just obliterate them. Maybe his skills can be like at level 10 he can choose to be either a bloat or a siren assassin. So if he, for instance, backstabs a bloat, he's instantly dead, or he backstabs a siren, she's instantly dead. It just gives him an edge over fighting a certain kind of Zed. Or like his third skill must be to do extra damage, or to have extra speed, or you know, just stuff like that. Because I would love to play a stealthy character as well, and it would really mix things up with the current lineup of classes in Killing Floor. Maybe make him really weak, and if he's like the last class left, then maybe take his cloak away. But like I said as well, that won't be necessary, because if he's only there to kill specific Zeds, or good at it, if there's any of those Zeds left, he's going to struggle actually killing them. I don't know, sky's the limit. I'm just putting the idea there, you guys can tweak it further. Then another class I would love to see is like an engineer class. Someone that pops down a turret that's maybe put on the ground, or put on a wall, or put on a ceiling. That kind of idea, and you can maybe upgrade this turret. It must obviously take some time and so forth, and if the Zeds get to it, they can break it quite quickly, or just something like that. But it must chow quite a bit of his ammo. It must be very ammo dependent. So I would love to see something like that. The engineer it doesn't just have to do that. Maybe he can repair broken doors, or maybe he can block off doors more permanently. So in the when you get to the trader, he can maybe buy like proper barricading, like metal barricading, and then weld a door shut with this barricading over it, so that you permanently close a door for whichever reason it might be. But that must be like very expensive, or maybe just flesh bounds can break through it, or just something like that. I would just love to see an engineer class doing whatever. You can maybe throw a lot of barbed wire on the ground, or whatever can slow down Zeds maybe. Or no, that's more the disabler class, so leave that away from the engineer. But you get the general idea of what I would love to see. Like an engineer class would also be pretty sweet in this lineup. Now, something else I want to talk about, and I know Tripwire Interactive will come up with this, they just need a bit of time, but more guns for every single class. Because that's the one thing I really loved about Killing Floor 1, was having so many different guns for every class, because it really improves your play style, and someone can pick to play with a certain gun, and then it just fits his style. In that same breath, I'm going to talk about something completely different now. This will completely change the face of Killing Floor, but in my personal opinion, I'm not saying this is the best way or the best idea. I'm just putting it out there so that Tripwire can maybe look into it and tell me what you guys think. If you think I'm mad or if you think I'm onto something here. I would love to see more RPG element in Killing Floor 2. Now the RPG element I'm talking about is role-playing games. So what that means, as you can see now, I'm level 25. Now I'm 100% sure Tripwire has already thought about something that they're going to do after level 25 so that it doesn't stop here. Because now currently I'm not as motivated to play Killing Floor 2 because I've reached level 25 with each character. So there must be something after this. So now the whole thing that I'm talking about changing is maybe make a skill tree that there's a few ways you can do this. I'm going to try and cover all of them. The first one can be, once you reach level 25, then maybe you can access the skill tree of that specific class and improve certain aspects of that class with level points. And level points you will obviously get now, which will be your level 26, which should have been your level 26 or 27 or 28. But they should add, like, these must be like prestige points or just something extra that you can keep on playing to get. So, for example, with those prestige points, it can be something simple. You can maybe upgrade your berserker damage, your base damage, or your damage resistance, or something like that. Maybe put another one of these small skill trees over here. Maybe someone can pick another skill now and upgrade it. That will be the very simple way of doing it. Something I would have actually loved to see in Killing Floor is that you don't pick a class. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this game, but if you are not, really go check it out. It's called Path of Exile, and I'm actually going to do a video about it as well. I played it some time ago, and I'm going to play it again just to put it out there a bit more because I love the game. But I would love to see like a skill tree for like Path of Exile in Killing Floor 2, where you don't actually pick a class, but you can level up as you go through your skill tree. So I'm going to try and explain how that skill tree works. For instance, if you look here where the mouse is now, it's like 25, it's on to the 25%. If you start as a blank player right here, then it's got branches going off of this to different directions. So for instance, then it will go towards berserker or melee weapons, it will go towards commando, it will go towards the support. But in that same breath, you are able to multi-class. With other words, you can go in the berserker tree and then spend a few points on damage resistance and speed to make yourself faster, and then you go to commando. I'm not sure if that mechanic will work 100% with Killing Floor. The balancing will have to be perfect. Otherwise, people are going to be building crazy things that'll just obliterate Zeds. But that would be much better for me than this. Not that I'm saying this is bad, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy playing Killing Floor like this, but remember, this video is just about suggestions on how to improve, in my opinion. Alright. So I would love to see that, or maybe just this basic skill tree where you can now go up to level 30 and you can spend 5 skill points here on whatever might be the case. What else was there? Oh yeah, the last video I did was the versus mode video. I wanted to just say something about that. I loved it. It was really fun, and it really gets your adrenaline going, knowing that there's some Zeds out there that can think, that are not as stupid as just your normal bot variety Zeds. So I love the versus mode in Killing Floor 2. I play it often. That's one of the main things I actually still keep on playing. Now what I would love to see there is, for instance, here where you go into your perks, there must be a tab here where you can switch between humans and Zeds. And then you must be able to level up your Zeds here as well. So maybe start off with a clot, and then maybe a crawler, and then a husk, bloat, siren. Just move your way up to your flesh pound and so forth. So as you level up, you unlock those as well, and then you can upgrade them. Just so that they are a little bit more potent. It just adds another level of depth to Killing Floor 2 as well. And then maybe one Zed that you're going to need in the versus mode. Here they show her, you see the siren. In versus mode, the siren can actually trap a human player, which is good, because that was something that you really were going to need in a versus mode. So I'm very glad that they thought about that. The siren works as a disabler. But what I would like to see is maybe another class of Zed that is slightly better at it, that maybe shoots something at a human player. Okay, I'm going to just use this example again, but maybe like a harpoon. Shoots it through the player, and then it can start pulling the player towards him. You know, just something along those lines. Or maybe a Zed, I don't know, this is really out there, so ignore this one, but I'm just using it as an example. Maybe one that's like a mastermind or something, and then he can control a human player with his mind, with other words, telling him telepathically, come here, and then the human player loses control of his character, and the character just starts walking towards this mastermind. Just stuff like that. I would love to see some more versus mode action, because it's a really fun. Then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the map modes. So if you go and have a look, let me not go there. As you can see now, you've got survival, and then if you go into the servers, you've got the versus mode. I would like to see some more mode here. You can maybe make a get the artifact or get the flag mode, where the human players land, for instance, on a helicopter pad. They have to go into this structure, go and retrieve data, and then make it back to the helicopter, the extraction point, whatever. Now this can be just single player or multiplayer. When I don't mean PvP. So it's just human players, you and your buddies up against the bots, trying to go somewhere and get something and come out again. Now that is the same as the objectives mode in Killing Floor 1. Just bring that back. That was actually a lot of fun as well. Then maybe make an objectives mode with PvP as well, so that you've got human players controlling the Zeds. And then some other modes was like just defend the base. Just have like let's say a house in the middle of the base, of the stage, sorry, and then the Zeds can spawn like in 360 degrees right around this particular house, and then the Zeds have got an objective. They need to either kill a hostage inside the house, or they need to kill all the players, whichever one comes first. Just mix up some of the game modes, and that would really be nice, and it will really be something that will set Killing Floor 2 above any other game even close to this genre. Because like I said, I am a big Killing Floor 2 fan, and I love everything about this game, and that's why I'm making this video, because I would love to see it go even higher than what it is at the moment. And yeah, I just want to take this time to thank Tripwire Interactive for making Killing Floor 2. I've spent a lot of hours on it, so that's a job well done. I really enjoyed this game thoroughly, and I'm pretty sure everybody that has played Killing Floor 2 has had a really fun time and will still continue to do so. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.